For decades, Woody Allen has been one of the most influential and controversial figures in Hollywood. His films have shaped generations of filmmakers, his humor has entertained millions, and his personal life has fascinated the world. But even for someone as guarded and enigmatic as Allen, Diane Keaton has always been a central figure, not just on screen, but in his life. Their on-screen chemistry in classics like Annie Hall was electric, unforgettable, and transformative for American cinema. Yet behind the iconic performances, there were tensions, complexities, and truths that neither Hollywood nor the public fully understood. When Diane Keaton passed away, it was more than the loss of a legendary actress. It was the closing of a chapter in Woody Allen's life that few dared to speak about openly. Suddenly, the world's attention turned to him, expecting reflection, perhaps confession, or even revelation. And that is exactly what happened. In a candid, startling, and deeply personal statement, Woody Allen revealed truths that many had suspected but few had dared to acknowledge. His words peeled back layers of decades-long speculation, exposing dynamics, decisions, and feelings that had always lingered in the shadows of their storied careers. What makes Allen's revelation so shocking is not just the content, but the timing. After a lifetime of public scrutiny, after years of speculation about their personal and professional relationship, he finally addressed the unspoken truths, truths that confirmed what audiences, fans, and critics had long suspected. For Allen, this wasn't about sensationalism. It was about closure, clarity, and an honest acknowledgement of a connection that defined a generation of cinema. And now, the world finally sees what has been hiding behind decades of genius, humor, and tension. The story of Woody Allen and Diane Keaton is far more complex, far more intimate, and far more revealing than anyone could have imagined. Woody Allen and Diane Keaton share one of the most iconic collaborations in Hollywood history, a partnership that reshaped American cinema in the 1970s. Their relationship was never just professional. It was deeply intertwined with creative genius, personal quirks, and the very essence of New York filmmaking. Films like Annie Hall were more than box office successes. They were reflections of a unique connection, a synergy between director and actress that could balance comedy, romance, and psychological insight in a way few pairs ever could. Audiences were captivated not only by the characters, but also by the palpable authenticity and chemistry between Allen and Keaton. Yet behind the scenes there were tensions, complexities, and an intricate web of emotions that neither the cameras nor the critics fully captured. Insiders reveal that working with Diane Keaton required patience, sensitivity, and adaptability. Woody Allen, known for his meticulous attention to detail and perfectionist tendencies, found in Keaton a collaborator who could both challenge and complement him. Their conversations, improvisations, and disagreements often blurred the line between art and life. It was in these interactions that Allen's signature neurotic humor met Keaton's unpredictable creativity. While this partnership produced some of the most memorable scenes in cinematic history, it also left emotional residues, small disagreements, clashes over creative choices, and moments of unspoken tension that neither party fully articulated at the time. Even as they achieved unprecedented professional success, the dynamic between Allen and Keaton remained delicate. Diane's individuality and strong personality often clashed with Woody's vision, yet it was precisely these clashes that fueled some of their greatest performances. Friends and colleagues recount moments of private frustration, late-night rewrites, and intense debates on set, all of which shaped not just the films, but the personas of both artists. For Allen, Diane Keaton was more than a muse. She was a mirror, reflecting both his genius and his insecurities. For Diane, Allen was a challenge, a man whose brilliance could inspire and frustrate in equal measure. Now, following Diane Keaton's passing, Woody Allen has spoken openly about this intricate relationship, confirming suspicions that had lingered in Hollywood for decades. He acknowledges the depth of their connection, the intensity of their collaboration, and the profound impact she had on both his work and his personal life. For the public, this revelation provides a rare glimpse into a relationship that was as emotionally charged as it was artistically fruitful, shedding light on the untold story of two of the most influential figures in modern cinema. As Woody Allen reflected on his decades-long relationship with Diane Keaton, he began to reveal truths that many had long suspected, but few had dared to confirm. Their connection was never merely professional. It was deeply personal, rooted in shared experiences, creative tension, and mutual understanding. On screen, they were a perfect match, capturing the quirks, insecurities, and humor of real-life relationships. Off-screen, however, the dynamics were far more complex. Friends and colleagues who worked closely with the pair describe a relationship marked by intense collaboration, occasional friction, and unspoken emotions that shaped both their lives. Allen has always been known for his introspective, neurotic persona, which translated directly into his films. Diane Keaton's spontaneity and unpredictability complemented this perfectly, creating a tension that fueled some of their most memorable work. Yet it was not always easy. On set, their interactions were sometimes fraught with silent disagreements, subtle power struggles, and moments where personal and professional boundaries blurred. According to those who observed them, these moments, though largely invisible to the public, had a profound impact on the performances and the stories that ultimately reached audiences. Following Diane's passing, Woody Allen admitted that the creative disagreements, the behind-the-scenes tensions, and the emotional pushes and pulls had been essential to their partnership. He acknowledged that Keaton's presence challenged him to grow, to reconsider his approach to both life and art, and to embrace vulnerability in ways he might not have otherwise. It was in this delicate balance of admiration and friction that their work found its authenticity. For Allen, these experiences were a reminder that genius and emotion are often inseparable, that the complexities of personal relationships can inspire brilliance on screen, even when they cause pain off-screen. Beyond their collaborative achievements, Allen also reflected on the broader lessons of their partnership. He spoke candidly about the inevitability of human imperfection, the need to accept the limitations of those we work with and care about, and the importance of appreciating connections while they last. Diane Keaton, in Allen's eyes, represented both challenge and inspiration, a figure whose influence extended far beyond the films they created together. Her impact was enduring, and her absence now leaves a void not only in cinema, but in the personal landscape of Allen's life, one that he has openly begun to explore in interviews and reflections following her death. The deeper Woody Allen spoke, the more the nuances of his relationship with Diane Keaton became clear. He admitted that while their on-screen chemistry was effortless and magnetic, off-screen it was a constant negotiation of egos, personalities, and artistic vision. Diane Keaton was never one to simply follow directions. She challenged Allen's ideas, questioned his decisions, and brought her own interpretations to every scene. This tension, while sometimes frustrating, was exactly what made their collaboration so extraordinary. It was in the friction between Allen's meticulousness and Keaton's spontaneity that some of the most iconic moments in cinema were born. Allen revealed that many of the suspicions people held about their relationship were true, that there was more than just professional admiration between them, and that their personal connection had influenced their work in subtle but profound ways. Colleagues remember instances where their off-camera interactions affected the tone and emotion of entire scenes. In interviews, Allen admitted that the intimacy, respect, and occasional misunderstandings between them created a depth in their performances that few other actors and directors could replicate. While their relationship was complicated, it was also immensely creative, producing work that has stood the test of time. What made the revelations even more compelling was Allen's honesty about regret and missed opportunities. He confessed that there were moments he wished he had approached differently, times when miscommunication or pride may have caused unnecessary tension. Yet he also acknowledged that these very challenges were integral to their partnership. The struggles, the compromises, and the emotional give and take shaped not only their films, but also their understanding of each other as human beings navigating careers, fame, and creativity. For Allen, Keaton was both muse and mirror, reflecting his own flaws, insecurities, and brilliance back at him, and forcing him to confront aspects of himself he might otherwise have ignored. In revealing what many suspected, Allen also underscored a broader truth about relationships in Hollywood. Fame and creativity often magnify emotions, making personal dynamics more intense, more scrutinized, and more impactful than in ordinary life. The public may have seen the laughter, the charm, and the timeless performances, but Allen wanted the world to understand the depth, complexity, and sometimes painful reality behind those moments. Diane Keaton was not just a co-star. She was a central figure in a story that spanned decades. A story of artistic triumph, personal tension, and profound mutual influence that shaped both of their legacies in ways the audience may never have fully realized. In the wake of Diane Keaton's passing, Woody Allen's reflections take on a poignancy that transcends professional admiration. He spoke with a rare vulnerability, acknowledging that their relationship was not without its struggles, but that those very struggles were inseparable from the brilliance they created together. The tension, the debates, and the emotional complexity they navigated were not obstacles to overcome. They were catalysts for art. Allen admitted that Diane's presence shaped him in ways no collaborator ever had, teaching him lessons about patience, creativity, and emotional honesty that continue to resonate even decades later. Allen also revealed what many had quietly suspected all along, that their connection went beyond the boundaries of director and actress. There was an intimacy, a mutual influence, and a depth of understanding that shaped every film they made. He spoke candidly about the subtle ways Diane challenged him, pushed him, and forced him to see the world differently, often bringing out the best in him while exposing his insecurities. It was this delicate balance of challenge and inspiration that produced performances that remain iconic today. For Allen, acknowledging this publicly was not about sensationalism or retrospection. It was about honoring the profound role Diane played in both his professional and personal life. The revelations also highlight the bittersweet nature of legacy. Woody Allen, in his own reflective way, admitted that their collaboration was as much about human connection as it was about cinema. Diane Keaton was not just a muse, nor merely a co-star. She was an integral part of his creative journey, a figure whose influence extended far beyond the screen. Now, with her absence, Allen is left to confront the magnitude of that impact, to recognize the irreplaceable role she played in shaping his films, his perspective, and even his identity as an artist. Her loss is not just personal. It is a cultural one, marking the end of an era in which their combined talents transformed the landscape of American filmmaking. Finally, Allen's words offer a message that resonates with anyone who has experienced complex, influential relationships. True collaboration, profound connection, and enduring impact often come with struggle, compromise, and emotional vulnerability. Diane Keaton challenged, inspired, and shaped Woody Allen in ways the public rarely saw, and her passing has prompted a rare, candid acknowledgement of what their decades-long association truly meant. The revelations confirm what audiences suspected all along. Their bond was extraordinary, layered and inseparable from the genius they created together. In the end, Woody Allen's reflection is a tribute, an admission, and a confirmation. Diane Keaton was not just the face of his films. She was the heart of them, the force behind the art, and the presence that shaped a career in ways the world is only beginning to fully understand.